Okay, so I have a proposal for a new show. Okay, you ready for this?
Mhm.
Okay, so it's Seinfeld, but Jerry Seinfeld is playing all the characters. You've got Jerry Seinfeld playing himself. Then you have Jerry Seinfeld playing George Costanza. Then you have Jerry
You're
Seinfeld
you're
playing
gonna have to
Elaine.
give me a hint whether or not this is the funny bit you were putting out because you gave me no hint that this is the intro.
I mean, that's the point.
You
It's,
just
it's to throw
started
you
talking. I
off.
thought you were just wasting time there.
I ain't wasting time. All right, this is genuinely the intro. Now, excuse me. I gotta continue my pitch. I want to hear what you think. So we also have him as Kramer. So you have the four of them coming in, just sort of like, hey, it's me, Jerry Seinfeld. But Jerry, I was in the pool, and then you have Elaine coming in going, come on, you guys, we gotta solve the thing. We gotta solve the soap incident. And then Kramer comes in. He's like, hey guys, it's me, Kramer. Let's all do some blow, and that's the show. Jerry Seinfeld plays everyone. We also have Newman Seinfeld, who just comes in like just as Jerry Seinfeld dressed as a mailman. So yeah, that's the pitch. I'm not so sure where to take it, but what do you think of it?
I mean, I'm more upset that you completely killed me for swapping our names last episode, and you think that a minute bit is better than that. The harmonica was better than that, and I had to cut most of the silence from it.
Well, that's because I like to try be experimental with the intros. Because I mean, I don't know. You
You
know
like
me.
to waste my editing time, basically.
Yes, yes, that's what I do. You knew what you were getting into when you asked me to co-host this podcast.
Anyway, Sean, what is this show actually?
Well, this show, ladies and gentlemen, dear listeners of the podcast, this is the Walking Skull podcast. I am Sean Skillian, the skull part of the podcast, because I think way too damn much about a lot of different things. And the other person from the other end of this computer right here is the walking part of the Walking Skull, because he's a very strapping young man who likes to walk places. It's Martin Walker.
Don't tell people I'm a strapping young man that likes to walk places. They'll be disappointed if they meet me. And half the people that listen to this show know I'm not a strapping young man.
Oh yeah, that's true. They meet you just sitting there like, "Hey, you want to take a seat?" But I thought you walked a lot. No, my legs hurt. Sit. But yeah, so what we do here on this podcast is that we essentially just talk about movies and shows with the things that we watch because it was a pretty good activity to do during this pandemic stuff. And we're going to probably continue it just because why not? It's fun. It gives us something to do.
It gives us a chance to maybe make money.
Maybe.
Probably not, though.
Listen, as long as you keep up the hustle, we'll probably be okay. So, Martin, how are you, sir?
I am good. This is actually well, debatably the longest gap we've had between shows because my work is trying to kill me slowly, basically.
Yeah, I know. You sent me all the texts. It was all random, kind of quoted and weird, and I was just like, dude, come on. Bit late for that.
Basically,
I mean, it was 3 in the morning. I kept getting these messages like, Sean, help. I'm about to be assassinated right now. They're trying to kill me. And I just sort of went, whatever, dude, I'm trying to sleep. And then just went to sleep. How is that situation going on, though? Is it all cleared up or is it still happening?
this is the length of time I'm allowed to sit still until they chase me again. But other than that, I'm fine.
All right. So, since we've been away for a while, a lot has happened. We watched a lot of like different shows and movies, but we're gonna try to bring up ones that are like somewhat current and whatnot.
We should actually have a break more often because the most amount of content came out between this break.
Yeah, like I think, like don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stuff that I would have probably watched because I'm a pretentious nerd. Like I think during our break, Sound of Metal and Nomadland came out, and the Oscars happened, and I probably would have been like this, and I probably would have done the whole like, yeah, man, Oscars, but I didn't watch it because I don't have a subscription to Sky, and I don't know, I haven't seen the other nominees, and it would be and I feel like I would be spoiling certain things for myself if I watched like a clip that kind of ruined the whole film or something. So I had to like wait, and I still have to wait. I haven't even seen Promising Young Woman or The Father yet, and apparently they're both really good, and I just want to see them. God, gosh darn it. But yeah, they're both good though. Cinematal and Nomadland. You gotta check those out. They're very good.
Yeah, well, I've seen neither of them. You've got to stop throwing to stuff that I've not seen.
I figured you would have heard of them at least. I don't know. I'm sorry. Maybe just a sort of like, I've heard of them. And then maybe that's it. And they'd be like, yeah, they're
All
both
right,
pretty
and
good.
then feed me the line again.
All right. What line?
Just whatever line you just threw me under the bus with. Feed me
Oh,
the line again.
what do you think? What do you think of the two movies? I think you're probably. I think of what's coming up. It's probably just going to be like a shot. Okay, I'll give it a shot. So, Mister Martin Walker, what do you think of Sound of Metal or No Man Land? Have you seen them at all?
Sean, you've got to stop throwing me under the bus. I've not seen these.
There we go. We got our second take out of the way. It's even better. There's no silence in the middle, so it's not awkward. Well done for asking all the awkward questions, Sean. You're welcome. High
And I'm
five.
gonna
Ow.
and because I'm lazy, I'm gonna keep both of them in anyway.
Also, it's fun. It's more natural. It's just
Yeah.
you gotta hear our charisma and our chemistry. So it's off the charts. It's off the walls. So it's all good. It's all fun. So what shall we start off with? Start off talking about today, Mr. Walker.
I was gonna talk about a movie that, if you know me, I have actually been waiting for around a year now.
Hmm.
And that
What's that?
is the Mark. I'm gonna screw up his name. I should have practiced reading his name beforehand. Max Barbot Max Barbaco,
Take a second, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna take some. This is gonna take some time. Get some coffee, make some dinner.
director Max Barbacos. I, Google it. You can figure it out if you Google it. Nana, you'll probably tell me how to pronounce this better the next time I see you. But Max Barbacos Palm Springs, which is another, because there's been a lot actually, another take on the time loop type films.
I mean, they're pretty good. Like it's a pretty good genre device, all things considered. You can sort of like do some very interesting things with it. So I
No,
don't.
I'm not against them.
Hmm.
Like that, in fact, Naked with Marlon Wayans was a bad idea. But
Yeah,
other than that,
that was while Martin regains his composure. I gotta say, Naked, bad. Don't watch Naked. It's awful.
it
Um,
wasn't a great movie. This, on the other hand, it stars well, it stars a lot of people, but the main characters are Andy Samberg, Kristen Millott, and
Milotti.
J.K.
Isn't it
Milotti.
Milotti?
I think it's
There we go.
Milotti.
Yeah, it's Milotti.
And
I don't know
J.K.
where the Milot came
Simmons,
from.
who play the three people that are stuck in a loop. And it's dark, but it's also quite funny as well. Where basically Andy Samberg plays the character of Niles, who has been stuck in this loop for. They try and tell you how long it's been, but even he's lost count.
Yeah, like I remember. I don't remember the actual like fact itself, but I do remember really seeing that someone put up a piece of trivia about the movie like before seeing it because like pandemic and stuff, and we couldn't see it for a whole year because of like distribution stuff. And someone mentioned that the character of Niles was stuck in there for such a certain amount of time that, from my recollection, I can't really say how long it was, but it was pretty goddamn long, like very
It's
long.
like someone mathematically figured it out, and I'll Google it as I'm saying this. How long Bill Murray was stuck in Groundhog Day,
Yeah,
and it was
essentially.
something like they did the math that it was he gets great at the piano, and debatably, how long does it actually take to get great at piano? Blah blah blah
Mhm.
blah blah. I hate Google because I've just Googled it, and Google goes, "It lasted one day." He just repeated it again and again.
Damn it, Google, that's not what we wanted. Of course, Google. We know that, Google. We've seen the movie, Google. We want to know, like, theoretically how long he spent in that time loop, Google. You listening here, Google? Get your
Right.
shit straight, Google.
I have found a thing they have worked out, and this website is called. I'm going to make sure I do it. The National Post, where he was actually stuck in it for 10 years. Because logistically, that's how long it would have done for him to
Ooh.
figure out to be great at piano, at
Mhm.
all the other stuff, like learn how to
Yeah,
drive
it's
this big, massive truck, figure out all that stuff and all the different ways he died.
yeah.
And you've got the character of, this is back to Palm Springs, Sarah, where she starts to slowly notice that Niles has basically got it down pat, where he seems to be cool and confident. He can steal drinks to like it's like he's mapped out the whole place. And basically
Mhm.
he's walking and the way he introduces himself to her is he walks up and he steals glasses from two people. He steals a cigarette from another person and then walks up. And they have a romantic night. And then it gets rather romantic. They go out into the desert, and then a character who is I won't go into a lot, but
Mhm.
basically J.K. Simmons, who is, if you keep on listening, are going to be a theme of this show basically because he's a god.
Mhm.
Um, he starts to attack Niles. You don't know why. Niles runs off into this mysterious looking cave, and Sarah follows him, even though Niles is constantly yelling, "Don't follow me, don't follow me, don't follow me," as he's bleeding out, "Don't follow me." And Sarah becomes part of this time loop. And then it's basically, well, I'll say hilarity ensues because I can't really think of that. But yeah,
Hilarity ensues
it's
after a
a
man gets shot by a crossbow. Hilarity ensues. I mean, to be fair though, crossbows are pretty funny. I mean, in a sort of like terrifyingly sick way. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really big on crossbows because imagine being shot with a crossbow. That'd be pretty terrifying, all things considered. Um, but yeah, so
it's a great film. I'll be honest. Everyone's really funny in it. I like, and I'm going to mess up her name again. I like Kristen Milotti, who had, to my knowledge, and I'll double check, her first role was a bit part in How I Met Your Mother, because spoilers for a show that A didn't age well and B is at least 10 years old now.
yeah.
She's the mother.
Mhm. Although she's been acting for quite a while, I won't exactly say like I can't exactly say what her first ever acting role was, but she's very well known for like How I Met Your Mother, and also appeared in Wolf of Wall Street. She's been getting like a lot of traction lately, like ever since the Black Mirror episode USS Callister, which is like one of the best episodes of Black Mirror. She's just been everywhere, and I love the fact she like is continuing just picking the most interesting like stuff to do. Like she's great in Palm Springs. I loved her. She was awesome. Like just as and as an audience like surrogate, being like dragged into this whole thing while you meet Niles is very like it's an interesting decision because you don't really get a lot of like well maybe outside of like Edge of Tomorrow and like where he's like essentially like us, not sure what's going on, and you have like Emily Blunt who's there like, yep, I was in that same boat and I know what's happening here. But yeah, she's very good as well as Andy Samberg. Like genuinely, the two of them, their chemistry is great. Andy,
Mm.
not only are they like genuinely hilarious at some points, but there are some moments in the film that are kind of heartbreaking to watch. Like their performances are like gets quite deep at some point. Like there's moments where like you could just see them like acting out these emotional bits, and they're very good. Like it's the sort of thing you wouldn't really expect from Andy Samberg a lot because we kind of associate him being just the Jake Peralta character from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But when you see him like in these sort of like roles, it gives him a
Excuse
chance to
me,
shine.
I know him as the stork from Storks.
He was good in Storks. I mean, I do love that part where like he suddenly gets all dramatic in Storks, and Tony Pigeon Tony's there like, "Hey, bro, we gotta
Side
go."
note, just because I shared this video with Sean and everyone, Pigeon Toady, the guy Stephen Kramer Glickman, great singer, is coming out with an album soon, and it was a massive surprise how good a singer he was. Not that
Yeah.
he promotes himself as an awful singer, but it's just not a way you expect.
I mean, if you got like vocal tones like that, you might as well make an album and promote it, make some music. Plus, come on, the guy voiced Pigeon Tony. He's like one of the best side characters in like film history, maybe. I don't know. That's a bit of a
And
stretch, but you know.
just from I used to watch it uh, when I was too old probably to watch it. He did Big Time Rush. He was one of the main characters in that.
I mean, if you don't
And he
like, I
was
mean,
funny as hell in Big Time Rush, and it was
hmm,
really, really great. And Big Time Rush, also a very good show. All that. It was what was it? The Banana Splits was the thing in the 90s, I think.
I mean, I don't know. I'm
No, the
aware.
Monkeys. The Monkeys was the TV show, where it was the band or the TV show. It's basically an updated Monkeys thing, where there are people who become a band who then go through crazy adventures.
Yeah, and that band had an album, kind of like how the Jonas Brothers did it, like with their show, and then they had like albums, and they became quite big.
That's what I should have said. It's like Jonas Brothers, except from the TV
I
show,
mean,
because I was an adult watching it. The TV show actually has humor that's not. What's the guy no one likes now that did Drake and Josh? Dan
uh,
Schneider or Dan
Dan Schneider.
Baker?
Oh,
Dan
Dan
whatever.
Schneider, that guy. Yeah, that creep.
The
Yeah,
guy
a
that
lot of.
everyone is. I think it's one of the few shows that he didn't do,
Hmm.
and it shows because there's a lot more. There's I don't want to say better humor because obviously humor is what you want it to be, but there's
Hmm.
more diverse humor, like not laugh at people, feet shot, laugh at
Yeah,
people kind of stuff.
not explicit Tarantino. Look at the feet kind of shot, which is like, no, I don't want to look at that. It's disgusting. I have to look at my own damn feet. You leave me alone.
Anyway, enough of the thing. Let's go back to Palm
Palm
Springs.
Springs.
Palm
Okay.
Springs is currently on uh, Amazon Prime. From someone who'd literally waited a year to watch it, it is definitely worth the wait.
Mhm.
J.K. Simmons, I won't spoil who the character is because I want you to watch it, but J.K. Simmons is proof that he's basically, I think it's him, Gary Oldman, and who's the other? And Keith, no, it's not Keith Urban, Carl Urban.
Like I was from you said Keith, I was gonna be like, what? You mean Keith David from They Live? Like amazing character actor Keith David.
Also Keith David as well then. Let's just throw them in. But the main
Yeah,
three that I'm thinking of Carl Urban, the other two names that I've just said, that Gary
J.K. Simmons,
Oldman
Gary
and
Oldman.
J.K. Simmons, who honestly just consistently are good, even in crappy projects,
Hmm.
but are
Like
like amazing throughout.
absolutely, like his role in like Palm Springs is it adds like as part of the heart of the film actually. Like don't get me wrong, he's not like the main focus of the film. Obviously, the main focus is on Niles and pardon me, and then Sarah as a whole, but he's there as a sort of like extra part that sort of adds more to the sort of like potential philosophy of Palm Springs when they talk about like the time loop and whatnot. Like either way, J.K. Simmons is very good, and he just adds to like the film in such a great way. And the way like these sort of like work out the whole time loop thing, where you, it's been done before, sometimes good, sometimes pretty bad, but with Palm Springs, it's a very unique approach to what they do to the sort of like particular like subgenre of movies. Like the fact that we had to wait for a year and it like, and despite the praise that it got, and I got to actually sit back and watch it after a whole year of waiting. It, like you say, it's very good. The hype is definitely worth it alone, despite the fact that again we had to wait a whole year here just to get it released. And the fact that it's out, the fact that like it's doing so well and everyone like still loves it and still getting all this like praise, it's just a very good movie, and I love it. I'm probably going to watch it again at some point.
Yeah, it's one of the like I don't really rewatch stuff that often.
Hmm.
It's one of the few ones that I will quite happily in a month or two when I've got nothing to watch it. I'm more
Hmm.
surprised that obviously we are internet savvy people. I genuinely throughout that year didn't have it spoiled for me.
Yeah, me too. Like I saw a couple of stills or a couple of memes, and even that one like trivia. But besides from that, no spoilers, which is just pretty awesome. I'm gonna be honest. So thank you, internet, for not ruining Palm Springs. So there you go. You get a thumbs up
Definite four thumbs up from me and
or
Sean.
thumbs up.
Even
Okay.
though my thumb on my right hand side is still a bit sore from work this week, but
So
all I'll say is that watch your thumbs when you're swinging a sledgehammer. That's about it.
yep.
Sean, I'm gonna
Yes.
quickly diverge and
Mm.
tell you if you've not watched when we're linking in it Amazon Prime and J.K. Simmons, watch Invincible. I'll be honest, it'll take you a second to get past it being a cartoon, but the voice actors are amazing in
Mm.
it.
Yeah.
The J.K. Simmons plays the Superman, and if you've seen The Boys, Homelander esque character where he's all powerful, and if you've seen the show, you know why I mean Homelander esque. Um, You've got Stephen Yoon, who we obviously talked about in Final Space last episode or the episode before. Stephen
Yeah, I
Yoon,
think it's.
I liked him as Glenn in Walking Dead, but I'm also very
Hmm.
glad with especially what was the Oscar nominated thing that he was in, Sean.
Minari, which I
Yes.
watched during our break, and Minari is a fucking beautiful film. Like I loved it, and his Oscar nomination was definitely well deserved. And he even won an Oscar for the best supporting actress. And the grandma in Minari won, and she's great and adorable. But anyway, watch Minari; it's great, and Stephen Yeun is pretty good in it.
Yes. I'm very glad, without being mean to the people who loved Glenn and all that, I'm glad that he was killed off in The Walking Dead because
Mm, mm,
he has given us a lot of good work where
mm.
he would still be doing that show if he had not died.
Yeah, essentially the hot take here is that he's moved on to better things. Sorry, Walking Dead fandom.
It's
Don't
fine.
at
I'm
us.
not going to tag them in it, so I won't.
Ah,
But either way,
um,
Sean, what have you been watching?
hmm. Well, just to carry on from the J.K. Simmons tag, we're going to go for a triple header of J.K. Simmons. Although, admittedly, he doesn't appear until season 2, but he's still part of the cast, so it counts. It still counts. Gravity Falls. That was the next show that I've been binge watching just because I've had it on my list for a very long time. Disney Plus obviously have it because it was a show that was on Disney. The show Gravity Falls follows two twins, Dipper and Mabel Pines. Dipper voiced by oh no, what's his name?
1 second, Vamp, and I'll let you know.
Thank you. I know he's the son of like a very well known comedy actor. It's oh no
You're getting there. You're getting there. Do you want me
it's
to
a
give you the second name or do you want the full thing?
full thing just to be safe.
It is 1 second. IMDb, you failed me again. Uh, it is Mr. Jason Ritter.
There we. Oh, I knew I had a J and I knew I had an R. Thank you for saving my back there, Martin. I gotta say, what annoyed me there was that I was so confident that I was gonna get the name right that my brain just went, "Ah, fuck you.
Just
I don't remember
shut
the
down.
name." Yeah, and I was
Do you
just
want me
like,
to give you the quick
"No."
cast list and then you can go back about?
Yeah. Oh, I know who else is in it. I just couldn't remember. I just couldn't remember Josh Ritter's name. I'm sorry, Josh Ritter. I feel bad. Or is it Jason Ritter?
I just told you it was Jason.
Damn it! It's Jason Ritter. Why? Why? Okay, sorry, Jason Ritter. If you ever do listen to this, I'm so sorry. Anyway, so we have Jason Ritter as Dipper. We have Kirsten Scull as Mabel or Mabel. Is it? Yeah, I think she pronounced it. Because
Oh, I knew it. I know everything. I don't need your help, Martin.
listen, listen.
That's what I heard there, and then that just completely failed.
I'm sorry. You try pronounce it then.
Christian Shaw, and I know
There we
this
go.
because if you listen back to previous episodes of the show, she is also a main character in The Last Man Standing.
And also one of the voices in Bob's Burgers. She's very very good. And then you've also have the creator of the show, Alex Hirsch, voicing several different characters, and the guy is a chameleon when it comes to voice acting. And you also get a bunch of like really interesting guest stars in there, like Linda Cardellini from the Scooby Doo films. She's very good in the show, and you've also got like Justin Roiland who appears in it once or twice, a couple of times in a couple of times. Even that weasel guy from Deadpool, I won't say his name because guys kind of it's be a waste of breath. But
No, you
yeah,
can say TJ Miller. We know TJ Miller had issues that he is currently dealing with, hopefully.
mm,
Because he was a relatively funny person at stand up, but he obviously
yeah,
had the thing where he did the thing that you all know about.
uh-huh. Um, but yeah, anyway, sorry, but anyway, so Gravity Falls. It follows the two twins, Dipper and Mabel. They go deliver their great uncle Stan in Gravity Falls, Oregon, a small town known for a lot of weird occurrences happening. And it's a show that lasts for 2 seasons, and for those 2 seasons, every episode has its own like interesting like creature of the week they have to deal with that leads up to a bigger like plot line. Season 1 they had to deal with this preacher type character called Little Gideon, who's a great kind of villain character. Then in season 2 they have to deal with this like ominous thought creature called Bill Cipher, also voiced by Alex Hirsch. And as a whole, the 2 seasons are great. Like just so many great character moments, so many good comedy moments, and even like some well moments, especially in season 2. It's got some incredible like drama in there. Like they got like one episode where I cried. Like it's
You
just
seem
an
to be
emotional
questioning
moment.
whether you cried or not there, Sean.
Yeah, because I was
Did
like,
you or
yeah,
did you not?
I did. I'm recalling that I did, and it's like, should I mention it? Because I don't want anyone being like, you cried at a kid show. What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, I'm just an emotional person. Leave me alone. But also, J.K. Simmons makes an appearance in season 2 where he plays a mystery character who's related to one of the main characters in the show, and well, it's J.K. Simmons. The guy is ominous at this point. Like the character name of Omni Man from Invincible, he is very
He's just... But J.K. Simmons watch here. Basically, anything he's in, from looking at it, anything he's in turns to gold.
Yes, J.K. Simmons is just the guy's a god tier actor. Even if like you see him and you think, oh, he's gonna be J.K. Simmons, but it's J.K. Simmons. We stand J.K. Simmons in this household. But yeah, he's great in the show. The voice acting in general is just excellent. Like I say, as the creator, Alex Hirsch plays a bunch of different characters. He voices the Grunkle Stan character. He voices the character of Zeus, who's like my personal favorite character, and even the villain Bill Cipher, which is just a great voice role, all things considered. And it's just a great show. Like I kind of had it on just because like I kind of wanted to get off the list, and it's a good thing to sort of watch in the morning to sort of like adjust your brain and whatnot. And I binged all of it essentially and finished it last week. And and I'm pretty sure that it's definitely one of the better shows that come out of the decade. Like it started, I'm convinced actually that it started this golden age of like children's animation
I
shows.
was
Because
going to say that, yeah,
yeah,
because
because
you've
you might
got,
remember,
wasn't it around that time, regular show or the
mm,
regular show, however, whatever the full
yeah,
title is. I apologize.
hmm,
And Adventure Time also came out with that one, and they all
yeah,
sort of weirdly, even though they were in like different companies, like Gravity Falls is Disney, and I think the other two were Cartoon Network,
yeah. Regular
or at
shows
least
Cartoon
in the
Network.
UK they were Cartoon Network. They might have been
Oh no, you're yeah, no,
elsewhere
you're correct.
somewhere.
There were yeah, you're correct, man. They're Cartoon Network shows. It's okay. You're correct. Along with Steven Universe, it's just Gravity Falls essentially just kicked off an incredible period of children's animated shows that had a lot more thought and a lot more creativity and a lot more interesting elements put into their shows. And I think it's great that Gravity Falls um ended the way it did,
Hmm.
because like you don't want to oversaturate it, which is like a massive risk that you get with television shows. So it's great that Alex Hirsch ended it the way he wanted it to end. And like I say, it might generally be one of my favorite shows.
It
Just because,
definitely kicked off. What was I going to say? It kicked off. I don't want to say kid shows, but I'll use that to go with what I'm about to say. It definitely started off kid shows not treating kids like kids,
yeah,
not like,
like
hey kids, we'll do the blah 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 blah. Like, no, it's okay to
mhm.
feel sad, and you're allowed to feel jealous of someone who's got more than you. Just don't be a dick.
Yeah, they've got these generally great morals that not only kids could also learn, but even those for adults that are watching. Like, say a family gets around to watching, they can sit there and go, "This is getting to me more than it should. This is why this is too good." And it's just such a great show. Like all the elements of comedy, the surrealist elements, and plus I think it's a great gateway for like anyone to get into like Twin Peaks,
You
considering
stop
it's a
trying to sell people in Twin Peaks constantly, Sean. They'll either watch it or they won't watch.
"You'll never stop me. I will get you into the day I die." Anyway, so
For
sorry,
those
that was the
people
little.
that did not hear that static mess, that was Sean saying, "You'll never stop me. I'll keep on doing it until the day I die."
Thank you, translator. That was very helpful. The little the
Also,
little
I'll say before we go on,
yeah.
even if you don't want to watch Gravity Falls, just look up the theme tune of Gravity Falls, because as soon as you said Gravity Falls, the theme tune has been playing over in my head.
I'm annoyed that I didn't look closely. I could probably just see you sitting there, sort of like vein on your head, trying not to like explode. Trying not to explode with the theme song or
Hey,
something.
I'm fine having music in my head. It stops the voices.
I guess that's true. But yeah, despite the little Lynchian goblin in my brain trying to get people into Twin Peaks again, Gravity Falls again, one of the best shows I think I've ever seen, and just genuinely something that I think anyone can watch. It doesn't matter how old you are. The humor is not only like very good, but there are some moments of subtle humor that's just really funny.
Mm.
And it's just in general just an excellent, well written show, regardless of who the target audience is. I highly recommend it. And there, and J.K. Simmons is also in it, so there we go. We have our triple header done.
Yeah, but we've covered J.K. Simmons, and if for all the people that have the same as me just been started to watch The Bad Batch from Disney Plus, D. Bradley Baker's in it, and you know that
Mm,
no matter what what I want to say Bradley Baker rather
yeah.
than D. Bradley Baker because my brain just shuts off when it tries to say three names. Mr. Baker
Mm,
he's kind of, I don't want to say less famous because if you know him well.
mm. And
Uh,
the realms
he's
of the sorry, what
he's
do you
a
say?
very good voice actor, man.
Yeah, in the realms of the voice acting community, the guy is a legend, essentially. So even if you're a listener who doesn't really know a lot of voice actors, if you talk to anyone who likes their voice actors, he's one of the most like well-guarded names that appears in everything.
He would be cast as playing a tree, and you'd feel an emotional attachment to the tree.
It's funny you say that because he voices like Waddles the pig in Gravity Falls, and even when he's just doing pig noises, you sit there and go, I am spiritually connected to this pig in such a profound way. D. Bradley Baker, stop this madness.
And as I said, he's currently, what I like is I've been watching, obviously, I like the Clone Wars TV series done by Dave Filoni, and Dave Filoni took it upon himself to cast D. Bradley Baker as the clones. So basically, he plays about 20 folk an episode and has conversations
Jesus
with
Christ.
himself.
Oh, I
But
would
what I
love that.
like is Disney Plus just kicked off the Bad Batch. I'll say it again
Hmm.
because it's good. Rather than putting like, because the clones in this one are different names and they've all got different names. So when the credits roll, they just put rather than them putting D. Bradley Baker as D. Bradley Baker as D. Bradley Baker as D. Bradley Baker as, they put in big words as soon as credits roll, they go D. Bradley Baker as the Bad Batch, and then they just go to the rest of the voices that were in that
That
episode.
is, I'm not gonna lie, that is hardcore. I love that. Like just in the credits way, it's just so hardcore to be like, so how do you want to credit Mr. Bradley Baker as these characters? Hold on a second.
He's the
Because
show. He's
he's the
literally the
show.
show.
He's the Bad Batch. D. Bradley Baker, the human being voicing these characters, is the Bad Batch. Slap it on there. It'll be marketable.
Yeah, he's great. Sticking with Disney Plus, we'll go to. I know we're a bit late, but obviously work and everything.
Mm.
Sticking with Disney Plus, we have both now, compared to the last episode when I tried to talk about it, we have both now watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yes, Sean.
I'm sorry.
You
I'm a
didn't just
weak.
say yes to not annoy me.
I mean, I gotta tell you though, Martin. I actually haven't seen the last episode. No, I'm kidding. I've seen it. I've seen all of it.
Yeah, you were about to get dropped from that call. This was about to just become the walking episode.
To be fair, I don't think I was going to get dropped. I feel like if your energy right now looking out the window, I could probably feel a hand stretch out of my window over there, tap me on the shoulder, and give me a big old slap to the side of the
we,
head.
uh, we shouldn't point out visual stuff because it's an audio podcast, but I got
Mm,
distracted because a new pizza place has opened that I told you about on because I live next to the beach where I
mm.
live. Uh, and I got distracted because a group of people came past with the pizza boxes.
I mean, it's fair though. You look at the window, you see people with like groups of like bags of food or boxes of food, and you're like, I want that. I kind of want to buy that. So don't worry, it
Yeah,
happens all the
that's
time.
the reason why I got distracted. Apologies. Shout out to Shiverinos. you're not listening because you're working hard, genuinely.
I mean, listen, sir, but the fact that you've got like Iron Broom and all that following some of your accounts, you could probably get Shabrinos.
I should actually tag Stephen Kramer Glickman in it because he follows me. So.
Yeah, or if D. Bradley Baker has a Twitter, maybe tag him
He
in it.
does
And
have a Twitter,
like,
but the man is too damn busy to actually do anything on the
yeah,
Twitter.
that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, come on, he's the Bad Batch. There's several D. Bradley Bakers running around. He's very busy.
Anyway,
So Falcon and the Winter
Falcon
Soldier,
and the Winter Soldier.
the latest Disney Plus Marvel show, following on from WandaVision, although it's its own little plot because it's about Falcon and Winter Soldier. It'd be very weird if the show was called Falcon, Winter Soldier, Wanda, and Vision.
It'd be quite funny if, like, every TV series they just added another name, and it was like Wanda and Falcon and the Winter Soldier and
That's gonna
Loki
be
and Miss Marvel and the Marvels and the Immortals and
That's going to be Marvel's new challenge. They're going to try and make the longest film subtitle
just to
ever.
go back to the Oscars. Imagine if the TV series won, and like they don't, but imagine them winning an Oscar and just them having to read out all the names.
Like they get like
Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Captain America and the Immortals and Wanda and Loki and
Black
Miss
Panther
Marvel and Black Panther.
Jesus Christ and Guardians of the Galaxy and oh my god. But yeah, anyway, so we follow Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon, and his good friend or rival, I guess, Bucky Barnes, aka formerly known as the Winter Soldier. Frenemies. There we go. That's a better term.
They're mates, but they're the level that no, I'd actually say they're quite good mates because they take the piss out of each other quite easily.
Mm-hmm. They're good friends, and that's good.
And they're great in the TV shows. And I'd rather watch Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan than, to be honest, I'd just watch them in this show because the subplots were a bit meh.
Yeah,
but I also know why the subplots were changed because obviously COVID affected the show a lot, whether it would be them traversing the world to film in different locations, but it actually cut out a plot because the Flag Smashers, who is it Carly Morgenthau, who's played by the woman who plays something or other by something else.
She was in Solo. She was one of the Raider characters in Solo. I have just on a sort of like positive note with her. I think she's gonna be in everything after this, which is great because she's very talented.
Erin Kellyman. I fuck that saying that up. Erin Kellyman.
There we go. It's okay,
but
sir.
Yeah, she will be in everything, and she will rightfully be in everything.
Absolutely, she like despite the direction that the Flag Smashers were going, it was a bit of a very bizarre direction. Not bizarre, but a very like not so great, very uninvesting direction. And I think she's probably going to benefit from being in the show because she's great, and I think she's going to be in like so many different projects by the time the show was over. So that's cool. But yeah, overall, the show is essentially about Sam and Bucky, just essentially trying to sort of like solve this issue involving a group called the Flag Smashers, whilst at the same time dealing with a new Captain America called John Walker, played by Wyatt, son of Kurt Russell. And essentially, it's a storyline. The whole show is essentially about asking us, the audience, who's going to be the next Captain America? Is it Sam or Bucky? And it's essentially this sort of like great. But when you take out the sort of two plot elements of like John Walker and Flag Smashers, this one Flag Smashers not being particularly great, and John Walker we'll probably get to in a bit. The main conflict between Bucky and Sam is generally some of the best like character writing that the MCU has done. Like, don't get me wrong, not like at the top tier levels of it, but certainly in a way where it's like these characters are talking to each other like friends and genuine like human beings. Like I remember there's a scene near the in the second to last episode where they're throwing the shield at a tree and it goes back to them in between and all that, and they're talking about each other like and their strengths and their weaknesses and whatnot. It's a genuinely beautiful conversation because you have these two characters who like know each other like the back of each other's heads.
That's when they're playing catch with the shield, basically.
Yeah, essentially, like it's
Mhm.
goofy, but it's kind of a beautifully profound moment.
Yeah. What I like about the show is that it's essentially two mates who were only really sticking together because of the third mate, but
Mhm.
unfortunately the third mate has disappeared. So it's two mates figuring out that their glue wasn't only that one guy. They actually have interests where they can hang out and talk to each other that
Mhm.
aren't related around Steve.
Yeah, and you have two of them who want to be Captain America for different like individual reasons. Although Bucky like is more pursuing Sam to do it because I remember you told me about this in one of the episodes. It's a genuinely great moment where the two of them are like with Bucky's therapist, and it's like it's one of the signature scenes of the show where they're in this like little prison interview room, and the two of them have this conversation about why the shield is important to each of them. And when Bucky mentions that when you gave the shield to the Smithsonian, it made me it like Steve saw a lot of potential in you. I can't remember the line verbatim, but essentially it was along the
It
lines of
was
like,
because I remember this because obviously I've had people I genuinely felt this. So he talks to him and he go, Sam is talking about how can you not just see that even though you and Steve thought that it was a good idea, can you not see that I did what I thought was right?
mhm,
And Bucky hits him back with, yeah, I get that, but Steve saw a lot of potential in you. And if Steve was wrong about you, then Steve was wrong about me. And
oof,
obviously, throughout the whole thing, Bucky, even throughout, ever since he was uncovered as the Winter Soldier in Captain America, the Winter Soldier film,
mhm,
he has been dealing with the fact that there's I think he did give a time frame on it. I think it's 80 years, 90 years, where he's been going from fight to fight that he's not been able to control.
yeah,
And the start of Falcon and the Winter Soldier is that he's not really got anything to do. So he decides to go and write all the stuff that he did.
like you have these two characters on their own like little moral adventures, and Bucky has like one of the more emotional ones because given the context that he's been like this Winter Soldier character for 90 to 80 to 90 years, it's definitely very interesting that they like added so much more detail to the Bucky character, which is just awesome to see, which is a big benefit of these shows. But one aspect of like Sam's character I loved was when he meets what's the name of the Isaiah something or other. Like
Isaiah Bradley.
there we go. Thank you, Martin. He meets Isaiah Bradley, who was experimented on with the Captain America serum, and those scenes, like I think there's 3 or 4 scenes that Sam has with Isaiah Bradley throughout the whole show, and those scenes are fucking excellent in terms of writing, in terms of performance, and in terms of what the scenes are trying to say and communicate. They're so well done that when you get to like the final episode, we'll probably go into some spoiler territory at some point. But when you get to the final episode and something happens that Martin probably knows about, when something happens that is very monumental to those scenes, it's it's fucking awesome and
Hmm.
incredible to see. And just like and just the fact that Anthony Mackie gets the opportunity to give a genuinely excellent performance out of it is really good because Anthony Mackie has always been good. I just don't.
Disney definitely, and this has been said on every show that's ever like covered Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Disney went full on with the race stuff. Like
Mhm.
the conversation about can a person of color be Captain America without the world falling apart and all that kind of stuff. They definitely touched it more than I thought they ever would. I thought they'd maybe skirt around it,
Mhm.
but I'm going to double check the director and writer's name who I did Falcon and the Winter Soldier because I know that Malcolm Spellman was the creator.
Yeah, I think yeah, Malcolm Spellman overall was the creator of the show. I don't remember if you wrote or directed the last episode overall. It was different directors who were handling it essentially. But yeah,
No, this was different. It was Carrie. Why has everyone got a hard name today? It was Carrie Skogland.
is that a
Skog Land. She
yeah.
directed everything, and I think that she did quite well with directing because I believe because them two basically did the show together with
Mhm.
a team of writers that is longer than my arm. so
Yeah.
I can't really name them all.
Yeah, like just those scenes are very well done, and definitely adds so much more when you consider like what the outcome of the show is going to be. I will say though, in terms of directing, the action sequences could have been better, but it was on a small TV budget. What can you do? But at the same time, it's like you could just not shake the camera at all with those action scenes. I don't know. I just don't like watching action scenes where like it's all filmed like, whoa, what's happening here? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. It's kind of annoying. I kind of prefer where it's like smooth and well done. You know. I'm
This was another show that was, and I think we're running out of shows where we can give this excuse to. This was another show that was heavily affected by COVID and the pandemic. So there was a lot of, as I said before, there was a lot of stuff they had to cut out, like Erin, I've just said her name and I forgot.
Aaron Kellyman.
Erin Kellyman and her Flag Smashers had there was a plot where they released a virus and they were going around having to like find the cure for the virus. And obviously
Jesus
during the pandemic,
Christ.
they
Oh
could not
no.
they could not release a virus.
Oh no, I don't mean to laugh. That's like one of the most poorly timed plot elements I think I've heard. I mean, don't get me wrong. Thank goodness they cancelled that, because I would not be prepared for if the social suddenly went right. There's a disease we have to take care of, and I'd just be like, fucking no, I don't want to see that right now. But yeah, so you can definitely tell that like certain elements of it have been affected. But I will tell you what, the one element that has been affected and kind of went terribly. The John Walker character. Um,
Felt a little rushed in my opinion.
yeah, I agree because Wyatt Russell, acting wise, was incredible in the show. I've always been a big fan of Wyatt Russell. His perform like he's done like a lot of he's done a couple like small cinema performances before, and maybe a couple of TV ones that some people have like seen him in. But he's very very good as John Walker, and the direction that they were taking the character, where he goes from like this wannabe Captain America to a full blown fucking psychopath by halfway through the episode is generally a very like well done like direction. I
Yeah,
was very
and they
excited to
went,
see where it was
yeah,
going.
they went up and up and up and up and up, and then they had. We're just going to spoil the show because if you're listening, it's been maybe about 2 weeks since it finished.
Yeah.
So,
So before we
and then
continue,
they had the
Morgan.
spoiler. They had the end credit scene where he was building everything,
Mhm.
and it was just a bit like he had a fight, and then they had Aaron go, "No, save these people," and he was like, "All right."
Yeah, like you like in the end of the second to last episode where you see him build his shield, you sort of think to yourself, "Oh God, he's gonna ruin like he's gonna come in there and just ruin essentially a plan that Sam and Bucky were gonna set up or something. He's gonna sabotage them. He's gonna become so obsessed with like being Captain America. He's gonna become like the anti Captain America." And then he just comes in and they're like, "Bro, save people." Okay, and then he just becomes a good guy, and then I remember reading that like Malcolm Spellman or the writer team essentially sort of said, no, that was the plan. We kind of wanted him to be like a likable character, and I remember reading that thinking, bro,
I could
I
even
don't.
see
That
them
was a.
making him a likable character, but they kind of made him hated.
Yeah,
Episode 5, like dealing with the fact that he's just killed a man in front of everyone, and
yeah.
then he was all right. And he's laughing and joking with Bucky. Him and Bucky are like, "Oh yeah, oh here's a Lincoln
And
quote," and Bucky's like, "Ah, well, it sounds good, but not coming out of your mouth." You're like,
yeah, yeah. This man killed a person in front of people as Captain America. Why are we supposed to like him? Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't get behind that. I think that's very. I mean, there's a part of me that's like, right. They probably had to like do a couple of things to sort for time's sake, but at the same time, if you're generally going out there bold face, like, no, people were supposed to like him, despite watching the show where it's like, guy, it says differently. Like he's
it
just, oh
feels
no,
like the director and the creator were like, you were supposed to like him, but no one told Wyatt that because Wyatt
yeah.
definitely played it as someone who wasn't meant to be liked.
Yeah, like I kind of feel like that Wyatt was onto something. Like if that is like the true thing, it kind of feels like he was onto something. Like you like looking at the character and going, right, you've kind of essentially gone on a bit of a sociopath here. I'm gonna play this character the way he kind of should be intended. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm curious to see where his character arc goes from here because Julia Louis-Dreyfus shows up and gives him like a job as being like just U.S. agent now, which if it involves him spinning off into his own show, I don't really want to see it. Just because, like, again, he had an interesting character arc where it was going up so well, where he became like the character that everyone loved to hate, but had such interesting baggage toward there and a lot of like interesting things to look at. And then suddenly it stops, and he's like, "It's okay, guys. No, I'm the good guy, despite killing somebody with my high
I
authority
mean,
powers."
obviously, for people listening, we can't really be like, "Oh my God, someone who killed a lot of people is becoming a good guy," because Bucky killed people for 90 years.
Yeah, but when you see Bucky do that, Bucky's like fucking legitimately grappling with with those like issues. The guy's like trying to make amends. The
It
guy's
feels like they
like,
tried to make another Bucky within 6 episodes rather
mhm,
than I'm going to pull a random number out of my ass, rather than the 6 years of
mhm,
Sebastian Stan playing Bucky that we got to have him
yeah,
build up, and then the 2 hours with where he was being discovered in Captain America Winter Soldier, and then Civil
mhm,
War, where we basically had a whole film dedicated to him being that person, and
yeah.
then all that other stuff.
That's unironically, that's an actually really good way that you put it right there. Like generally, because it definitely feels like that. They're trying to also go for they're
Wait, are
trying to
you
go
trying
for
to say
two.
that other stuff you said ironically to me, Sean?
No, no. I'm praising your
What are
analogy.
you trying to say,
I'm
Sean?
just Warren. I'm just praising your analogy. Is what I'm trying to do, brother. Turning into Hulk Hogan over here.
I, as long as you don't fully turn into Hulk Hogan, we'll be fine.
Listen, I just think there's a couple problems here going on. No, no, no. It's okay because I'm no racist. It's cool. Also, anyway, so Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan. So, John Walker, his whole arc not great. In fact, now you mentioned it, it's kind of comparable to Hulk Hogan. Starts off great, then just bad shit happens. You're just like, bro, why?
And
In
what?
fact, no. Sorry, before you continue, I actually
Yeah.
have to go deeper into this. Sorry. Yeah, John Walker is essentially the MCU version of Hulk Hogan, where they have an idea of who he's supposed to be. That he's supposed to be this big, cunning, very cool kind of hero, but actually behind the scenes, kind of an overall despicable character. There we go. I did it. That was a good save. There we go. It's official.
Um,
Hashtag John Walker is Hulk Hogan.
never mind. But I feel that obviously, if we got to see Black Widow first, then the Madam Hydra cameo would have been much more interesting because she'd be, hey, it's her.
Mhm.
But it was more of a, okay, internet, tell me who she is. The
Yeah.
Power Broker storyline was very meh as well because they
It's a
were quite
shame.
like
Yeah.
if they hadn't been playing it up consistently and they hadn't done the thing where Batroc literally goes power broker and then they did the end credit scene where she is uh pardoned for all her like fake crimes,
Yeah.
and then did the phone call off, hey, we're about to get into a lot of money. That would have been a better reveal than say, so I'm the power broker.
I mean, you've either war. Despite your like rewriting of it, I still think the power broker stuff was kind of wasted. At first, you're like, "Oh, cool, power broker. I gotta continue watching this. Who the power broker is." But then when you find out who it is, it's a shame because Emily Van Camp is a very good actor, and
Hmm.
it's great that it's great she's gonna be getting. She's probably gonna be getting more stuff working with the Marvel and whatnot. But yeah, it was kind of like the John Walker aspect of the show definitely kind of felt a bit botched. And I don't really know how to point it out, but it definitely felt like a botched decision. Like in the writers' room, they were just like, "Oh, damn, we don't know who's supposed to be the power broker. Quick, quick, just select out the hat. Who's going to be the power broker? It's gonna be the Carter woman. It's gonna be her. She's gonna be the power broker." And it's just sort of like, yeah, I don't think you guys
Yeah,
thought
all
that
right. No.
through.
Other than that, Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie were amazing in a lot of their scenes, to my knowledge. And this is completely secondhand information. A lot of their scenes were they were given the script, but also went improv as much as you want to. Like the therapy scene, what a lot of that was improv between them two. There was a lot of scenes where they were just making it up as they were going along.
Yeah.
And I loved the story of, how they became mates was during the Captain America Winter Soldier press junket. Someone in Marvel and Disney went, Sebastian Stan doesn't really talk a lot in his press tours. And then they were like, I'll put him with Mackie. And him and Mackie just started, you can look this up on YouTube in montages. They just started dicking around on the press tours and became amazing mates.
Yeah.
And it went on from there. Like that one person in Disney that went, sticking with Mackie needs more money than they deserve.
Yeah, like they've accidentally now created like one of the greatest like duos in the MCU. Like there's a lot of great duos, but that's definitely one of the best duos, and I think it's kind of genius. And you could definitely, watching the show too, you could definitely feel that the two of them, like their chemistry is not only off the charts, but you could just sort of feel, like that if you just said cut, they just feel like it feels like they're genuinely excited to be around each other, which is just a great thing to see when it comes around
If
to
you've
that.
not seen it, you should watch the behind the scenes thing they did, because I think they're going to do it for every series that Marvel's got. I think it's called Avengers Assembled or something like that.
Yeah, I think they did the same in the Star Wars stuff of the Mandalorian, which is great because you got a lot of behind the scenes people out there who'd love to see how that stuff works, and that's great. It's very
But
fun to see.
seeing them two and Daniel, I'm gonna screw up his second
Brule,
name.
it's a Brule. Don't worry, I'll try. I'll take the bullet here for you, Martin. It's Daniel Brule. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct. But yeah, it's that. I think it's Daniel Brule.
Seeing them three just enjoying hanging out with each other in the behind the scenes is quite funny, because they'll try stuff, and I'll send you the scene later on because I won't do it justice. But there's a scene where the three of them are meeting Wyatt Russell and Lamar Huskins, and the way that Bucky goes into that meeting just makes them all laugh.
Oh man, I gotta check that out now just to sort of see it, because I do love watching many scene stuff where people are just having a great time, because those are like the best. Those are the best sets where people are having a great time.
See when they jump out of the plane in like the third episode, the stuff that both Mackie and Sebastian Stan scream when they jump out of the plane is quite funny.
Oh man, but yeah, on the subject of Daniel Brühl, very quick, because I do want to get to one final point before we wrap up with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Baron Zemo getting more screen time is always a win, because ever since Civil War, I've always been a big fan of the Zemo character. Like everyone kind of wrote him off as like a very nothing villain, and it's like, but God, no, he's a very underrated character as far as I'm concerned.
He's a massively underrated character, because think about it. If Civil War didn't happen and he didn't break up Cap and the rest of the Avengers, then there's a debatably, obviously massively debatably, there's more of a chance that the Avengers would have won Infinity War.
Like genuinely, like whenever I hear people say he's kind of a nothing villain, I'm like, but the guy did what Loki could never do, and he did that successfully, and he didn't die doing it. He broke up the Avengers.
He did what like all the villains never managed to do, which was beat them, but also make it stick.
Yeah, like he genuinely bet them in a psychological wit. Like genuinely, in a game of psychology, he bet them. Like you don't even have to get physical of any of it. That's how much of a great villain he is to me. And
I mean, he did kill T'Challa's dad, so he did have, and then that other therapist that he took the place of. He got physical. Yeah,
that's true.
He didn't get physical with the actual Avengers, which was the good point, because he just didn't do it.
Yeah, he had Bucky to handle all the physical aspects of the combat.
I also love that. We'll wrap it up after this. I love the fact that it was just like, so you're rich, and it was like, yeah, that was a Baron before you put me in prison.
Yeah, that got a bit of a pop out of me, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, one more thing about the show that I love going forward that I think is going to be great overall, especially for the Sam character. But in the final episode, where he comes out as when he appears as Captain America, oh god, I loved that. And then you have that. Then you have a couple of beautiful moments in the show where not only does he like talk to the government people and all that, and then he talks to Isaiah Bradley, and Isaiah Bradley's like, dude, that is fucking cool. And then you have the last scene where he takes Bradley to the museum and he shows him the contributions that Bradley and his team during World War II made. I I bawled. It was just a beautiful little moment. And going forward, now that you've also announced a fourth Captain America film with Anthony Mackie leading the charge as Captain America, dude, I think that's really, really fucking cool. Like, genuinely, I
It
cannot
went
wait to see
really
that.
well with this. Like, obviously, with WandaVision, we kind of knew about Doctor Strange 2 beforehand,
Mm-hmm.
because obviously COVID messed up every like the mix of how it was going to happen and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure, obviously, Kevin Feige is a genius with this kind of marketing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably, I imagine that's how they were going to do it. They were going to be like Wanda at the end of WandaVision. They were
Mm-hmm.
going to then go, and she'll be appearing in Doctor Strange, blah, 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 would be the end credit things. You know, like when they used to be like Spider Man will return
Oh
in
yeah, I've
such and
seen that.
such and all that
Although
stuff.
I gotta say, as someone who like reads a lot of like movie related news, I kind of already knew she was gonna be in the sequel. Sure, there's casual audiences
No,
that
that's
don't
what
need
I'm
anything.
meaning. Like, I think that's probably how they, if it wasn't for COVID, that's probably how they were going to try and announce it, was that
Hmm.
it'd be TV show, then
Yeah,
Wanda will return in blah blah blah, and then it'd be TV show, and then Captain America 4 will be starring blah 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 blah, blah. And
yeah,
then probably Loki would be, he's back again. He didn't
yeah.
actually die.
He's back in TV form. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see what to do with Loki. I'm genuinely excited to see where this version of Captain America goes from here, because I just think it's great. Not only do you have Anthony Mackie leading the charge, it's just great because Anthony Mackie is just a genuinely awesome actor. But just the fact that they managed to make a show that built up to that moment and it stuck the landing so well. It just makes me excited. It just makes me excited for the future. Overall, the show, I would argue like it's good, but there is still some mixed bags in there.
Hmm.
Um,
Like
it,
I said earlier, it's coming to the end of being able to use this excuse, but it's one of the shows that was affected by COVID. So we can't really 100% poke plot holes in it, because we imagine that if they had more time to think about it and not get halfway through filming and then have to panic about everything, they
yeah,
probably would have put more effort in.
Yeah. Oh, that's not really a plot hole thing for me. It's mostly just sort of like little issues that I had. I mean, I'm not one of those people who likes to
Sean, you've got
search out.
several issues.
You mean like personally or just in general? Man, I just proved your point right there. So yeah, Falcon Winter Soldier. Overall, a pretty good show. Still has its issues, but it's fun and it makes me excited for the future of the MCU.
Yeah. Now we're going to do something different to the normal. This is basically the first episode we're going to do where we've actually, both of us have seen everything we've brought up.
Yeah.
So my next one is something I watched in the last week, and I think I'm going to steal it from Sean because I'm going to say it first. The Mitchells versus the Machines.
Yeah, I tricked you. I wasn't even gonna say it. I wanted you to have the spotlight. There you go. Mwah! You got the spotlight.
He's telling it. He's lying.
So, what's I'll tell you what though. As someone who's seen it, I'll pretend I haven't seen it, and I'll pretty much just be all amazed by it. But Martin, please tell me, what's the Mitchells versus the Machines about? It sounds
All
pretty
right.
interesting.
Well, shall we do the game where we read IMDb and see if it goes with what actually it is?
Are we gonna make
But
that into
either
like a
way,
regular?
the
I'm gonna make that.
writer and directors and co-directors of this were Michael Rianda and Joe Rowe, who did a really great job with slight helps. Well, I'm not going to say slight helps. The producers were, and you can really feel it, and we had this conversation. The producers were, I always get their name wrong.
Christopher Miller and Phil Lord.
I always want
There
to
you
say
go.
Phil Miller and Christopher Lloyd. And I'm like, no, because Christopher Lloyd is a different person.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown. It'd be an altogether different story if he suddenly started producing movies. Like I don't know. It'd probably just be like everyone's acting like Doc Brown. He'd probably somehow throw himself into those projects. I don't know.
But to go for IMDb, The Mitchells versus the Machines, 2021. It is about 2 hours long, but it doesn't actually feel like 2 hours long.
No.
Um, it is a quirky, dysfunctional family road trip is upended when they find themselves in the middle of the robot apocalypse and suddenly become humanity's unlikeliest last hope. And IMDb's actually went for it that time. They got it right.
Yeah, well done, IMDb.
Well done. You've been
You
going
didn't
for
screw
so
up
much
the plot
longer than us,
description.
but you're getting our opinions.
They're probably listening to us right now, going, "Ah, shit! They found out our skit, boys. They found out our plan. We gotta change our mind. We gotta properly describe the films now." So, Mitchell's vs. the Machines. I watched this, I think, a day after it came out, or I think the night it came out. I did a double bill of this actually with Nomadland because that also came out literally on the same day. And yeah, and two very different movies overall. It's like Nomadland, I thought was a very great film. Definitely deserved the best picture win, by the way, and the best actor and even best director. But don't at me because that's just my opinion, and we all want to be very friendly here. But yeah, I with Mitchell's and the Machines, I had such a great time with Mitchell's versus the Machines.
How
Like
many times are we going to say the title?
I don't know. I
Mitchell
mean, as
versus the
long as
Machines and Mitchell versus the Machines with Mitchell
Mitchell's versus
versus the
Machines,
Machines.
and, you know, Mitchell's versus the Machines. It's a great movie, and what's the name of the movie again? Oh yeah, Mitchell's versus the Machines. We're
It's
gonna break the record.
Invincible.
oh, oh no, so that explains the weird J.K. Simmons Superman flying through the scene. Oh man, that explains a lot.
Sorry, I'm just noticing because I'm reading the cast list right now, and it is a spoiler for the movie, vaguely, but Abby Jackson voices Kate Mitchell, who's the lead character. And in this, she is a film creator. And she also, for some reason, IMDb felt the need to give her credit for being dog cop as well.
Yeah, I saw that. I think that's just a little joke on the movie's part, which honestly, it's pretty funny. Like I just liked some little details like that. Also, come on, Dog Cop is amazing. I love Dog Cop. He's my
Dog
favorite
Cop's
character.
pretty good. From someone who owns pugs, Dog Cops is pretty funny.
Yeah, Dog Cop. I'd rather watch that over Dirty Harry. I'm sorry. Get me a better cop movie than The Departed. I have
Dirty Dog.
I have Dog Cop, bitch. No Departed.
Harry Cop.
Turn around a hooch wishes it was like Dog Cop, but it ain't.
I don't think Turner
Tom
and
Hanks.
I don't
Get
think
the
Turner and
fuck
Hooch
out of here,
wished it
Tom
was
Hanks.
anything more than money.
We've got Dog Cop on the job, Tom Hanks. We don't need you anymore.
Either way, we are trying our best not to spoil this film, but it is a very funny film brought to you by the people that I mentioned earlier on. You've got Abby Jackson, Danny McBride, Maya Rudolph, who is another person that has been popping up quite a bit, deservedly popping up quite a bit.
Yeah, Maya Rudolph is just awesome. Like, just stick her in anything and she'll do a great job. Even if the thing that she's in is not great, she'll always do a great job of it.
And I didn't actually know this until reading the cast list here. The writer and director is the voice of the kid.
Aaron, yeah, he voices the Aaron character, which at first
but
is...
also before I'll cut you off, to also then shit on IMDb again. They couldn't even be bothered to put the rest of his name in it.
Jesus Christ. I gotta be honest though, that interruption was just that interruption there was just so powerful. But yeah, anyway, his voice role is kind of distracting at first because like you're kind of like you're listening to the voice and you're like, okay, this sounds like a 30-year-old man trying to voice a kid essentially. But you kind of get used to it afterward just because of one thing that I love with the movie. The characterization is so strong that it doesn't become a bother where you listen to the Aaron character talk. It's like, yeah, I associate that voice with that character model now. I can't really get too mad about that. That and the voice acting in general, because not only do you have the people that Martin here is just listed, you've also got Eric Andre in the movie. You've also got Olivia Colman has the villainous app that creates the robot apocalypse.
Wait, you've not given her right title. You've got Oscar winner Olivia Colman
Oh, I forgot. Yeah,
as the
sorry.
bad
Oh no.
guy.
Oof, I feel bad now. Yeah, sorry, Martin. Thank you for putting me in my place. We have Academy Award-winning legend Olivia Colman has the bad guy, and there's a reason why she won an Academy Award because she's very diverse and very great at the acting job. And her role in this movie, I loved her. Like she was so great.
Again, it sounds like you're questioning it.
Like, is this because I don't know anyone else who like felt the same way? Like, it's why I do that because I feel like if I mentioned it in a straightforward manner, someone's going to be like Arns Fuller, like, no, I didn't think she was particularly great, whatever. And it's like, what? She's great, and I thought she was
Again,
amazing in it.
I will narrate that mumble. He went, I didn't think she was particularly.
Yeah, I quick talk again. Sorry, I drank some coffee earlier on, and they're like it's starting to catch up on me. But yeah, you'll get some people that are straight faced, all like, oh, but I thought she wasn't particularly great. Very, very nothing role there, and it's like, well, what the fuck are you talking about? She was great. I loved her in the movie. Even Eric Andre, who was just, come on, it's Eric Andre. Like, even the guy is funny. I love him. And I will tell you what, though, my two favorite performances in the film is because of how like unexpected great they were. Abby Jackson and Danny McBride, I thought they were very terrific in the
I
movie.
thought you were going to say Doug the Pug.
Come on, Doug the Pug. Doug the Pug he's in its own he's in his own category of like greatness. Like he
He was
steals.
cast as Doug the Pug, like as Monchi the Pug, but also I'm really struggling to remember if there was any dog noises that came out of him.
I think they were. You might have to watch the movie again, just because, like all Phil Lord and Christopher Miller projects, there's a lot of like stuff that goes on. So I wouldn't blame you for missing any dog sounds. But yeah, Danny McBride has the father. I don't remember the name of the father, but he is amazing.
Rick Mitchell.
Thank you, Rick Mitchell. Genuinely, I love Danny McBride not only because he's a generally hilarious like actor, but but when you give him some moments to be like serious, he'll knock it out of the park. And I think this definitely showcases his strengths as a comedic actor. We're not only going to be like really, really funny, but there's some genuinely beautiful moments where like his performance shines through in a very heartfelt way. Same with Abby Jackson as Katie Mitchell. Like there are moments that they'll have where it's comical and hilarious, and then it's like beautifully well done and beautifully performed, and it's just great to see those two do a great job. And even as well, we got to talk about the animation, dude. Like Jesus, the animation in this
A lot
movie.
more live action elements than I was expecting, to be honest.
I loved it. Like just the style they were going for, even the little like scribbles and whatnot. Where you see Katie's dibbles. What's a dibble? What the fuck is a dibble?
Sean means dribbles.
Dribble. There we go. Is that how you dribble? I'm gonna look that up later. A dibble. What the hell is a dibble?
Well, dribbles also not what you were thinking. I believe you mean scribbles, but I was just
Yeah,
telling you the word I thought you think you were saying.
right. Before I continue live on this podcast, I'm gonna ask Google here. Okay, so let's give this a moment. Okay, Google, what's dibble? It just said what's. It just answered back what's devil. That's not what I meant.
Dibble is a plural, dibbles, a pointed implement used to make holes in the ground and to plant seeds.
Thank you, Martin. Google, you suck. There we go. But
I mean, I used Google to find it, but I didn't just pull that information off the top of my head.
all right, I'm sorry. Well, anyway, your voice recognition, Google, it sucks. Do a better job, Google. You're annoying me, Google. I
Wait,
see
did you
you,
not
Google.
take anything from the Mitchells versus the Machines?
The machines are
We're
bad.
literally talking about a film that involves the like robotic smartphone uprisings and you're bad mouthing your phone.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh
Coleman's coming to
no.
get you.
No, I don't know, Olivia. I'm sorry. I don't want her to come get me.
I treat my phone with the utmost respect. My phone is in an indestructible case because I work demolition.
Are you still poking at it and swiping it though?
Yeah. But I'm doing it gently and I'm whispering in its ear as I do it.
Oh, that's not good. That's not a great time to have. No, I don't do all that, but I do whisper in the phone's ear.
Hey, you do what you do with your phone, and I do what I do with my phone.
That's a good point. That's a very valid point. I will say though, like the way the way the movie looks, like and it's very gloriously done animation. I'm sad that it didn't get to come out in the cinema.
Oh
Obviously,
yeah,
for
I
very
wanted to.
understandable
This is
reasons.
one of the few films I want to re-release in the cinema because I want my chance to see it.
Yeah. Oh, I don't doubt that will happen. I think Netflix will probably be. I think Netflix, hopefully, fingers crossed, will give the opportunity for people to go see movies in their like local independent cinemas. Because from what I've heard, I remember like somewhere in London, I think their cinemas opened up early. I think people were able to see Mank, like well after its release
What'd you
day. I
just call
think.
me?
I called you Mank, named after the
Hey, let's
2000.
wait before you go any further. Let's double check that's not a slur.
Yeah, what, Mank?
Yeah, you've
I
said
don't
it
think.
again.
I swear to God, if it turns out that it's an actual slur and David Fincher unironically named his film after that word, I'm gonna be hella pissed. Is it an actual slur? Oh no, why? David, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you do this to us? David, what the fuck?
Actually, I
Why?
will read the description here.
I'm,
Mank,
I'm
a,
actually really annoyed. Like,
a
I've been calling
racial
the movie.
slur for someone who is part of the white majority. However, it should only be used by someone who is a Mank. In essence, it's the white majority owns self-hate word. So
What?
you can use it, is what I'm thinking there.
Right, I'm fucking confused because the movie it's called. For those who don't know, the movie is called Mank purely
You
because the
said it
main
again.
character's name. Shut the fuck up. The main character's name is Joseph Mankiewicz, and he's called that as a nickname. Is this a genuine like slur? Or are you just making shit up on the
No,
spot?
it's a genuine slur.
Okay, what's the slur for?
I've just said it's a
Remind me
racial
again.
slur for someone who is part of the white majority. However,
Right.
it should only be used by someone who is a Mank. I'm going to assume that that's us then. If we're
Okay.
both white boys, it's a white boy summer, as Chet Hanks says.
I don't remember being called out for like using it on Twitter. Like they
That's
genuinely, I
because I
think.
think I was the only one to Google it. This is
Jesus
also on
Christ.
Urban Dictionary, so yeah, judging by the look of it, yeah, I'd say we're all right with using it because it is a racial slur for someone who is part of the white majority. It's white people
Right.
slurs.
That and I'm using that and I'm using the different context for as a name of a movie right now.
Oh,
But
so what you're
Jesus.
saying is that if the N word was a movie title, you'd throw it out
No,
constantly.
no, don't do that, you fuck. Don't do that.
Sean, you disappoint me, young man.
Listen, I didn't even know that there was a slur until today. Okay? I'm
Neither
the
did I. I just wanted to double check. We were
I'm
about to
the
use it constantly. I just wanted to double check that it wasn't any.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
Hey, to be
So
fair,
does
I'm only 90% sure that Palm Springs and Invincible and J.K. Simmons isn't actually a racial slur. So let's keep that going.
why would that be though? That's the guy's name.
Mank is also a guy's second name,
I mean,
judging
to
by
be
what you're talking about.
I mean, to be fair though, J.K. when you take a is affiliated of like J.K. Rowling, the horrid turf woman. So I guess like some people are gonna be like, whoa, 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 which J.K. referring to though? We're probably gonna be like, no, no, Simmons. We're referring to the best J.K. We're referring to the best
What is his
J.K.
first name?
I imagine to be
Anyway,
a very
keep talking
strong
about the
name.
Mitchells and the
Uh,
Machines.
But I want to make a guess though. I imagine it'll be a very strong name like Jonathan or something. He strikes me as a Jonathan. Anyway, so um after
Watch
that
the
detour,
slurs and keep
Mitch,
talking.
yeah, Mitchells and the Mitchells versus the Machines. I wish I got to the cinema. I went to the cinema to see this. Obviously, I think Sony and Netflix now struck up a deal where a lot of their movies are going to be going straight to Netflix after a cinema run, which makes sense, especially in the current time period we're in right now. So yeah, I think it'd be great if it got released on cinemas at some point. If like Netflix are able to sort of show it to like all independent like cinemas, I would be down to see it again at the cinema, and I just be down to watch it in general. But I will say though, without going into full detail about the comedy, because the comedy in this movie is genuinely relentless
Or it's
in its
cutting you,
execution.
and I'm going to
Sure,
make my
go on.
mic do that thing where it cuts you off.
Oh, okay,
His name is Jonathan Kimball Simmons.
I was right. Jonathan. He strikes me as a Jonathan. Also, Kimball. What a great name. But yeah,
Anyway, you racist. Keep going.
shut the fuck up. Anyway, so um, like one of my favorite scenes in the film is when it's like sort of near the end when they go to like the store and it's in the trailer and you sort of see an army of Furbies. That whole sequence
That's
genuinely one of the
hilarious.
fun genuinely one of the funniest scenes I've seen all year. Like I could not stop laughing at the insane amount of shit that was thrown at the screen. Even like dumb humor, even like dumb meme bits, like the comparison of Rick being like this sort of like monkey. I don't know, that got me. I'm a simpleton. What can I say? It was really funny. But yeah, the comedy in it is also relentless. The animation is very unique and very well done. Basically, everyone, we love this movie. There's no disputing that. We
It,
loved The Mitchells versus the Machines. It's a genuinely great movie, and I think it's definitely going to become one of the best. Hopefully, it'll probably become a pretty good candidate for like animated feature at next year's Oscars. So hopefully, it'll probably do well for that kind of run, which it might. Um, which come on, it's the same team who made Into the Spider Verse. Come on, they're probably going to get a nomination again.
it
Which
and what's his name? And the Lego movie as well.
Oh, oh yeah, the Lego Movie. I think the Lord Miller more or less, yeah, they directed and wrote the Lego Movie and produced it as well. They produced the second one as well, and I don't know what's happened to that franchise, man. I'm kind of sad. It was doing so well.
I believe the Ninjago movie killed it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That and I did hear that, and that and I read that like the Lego Movie two's box office receipts, while good, weren't as strong as the first. Which again, shame, because I thought the Lego Movie 2 was actually not that bad.
It was
And
pretty good, but we also had, I think, a Lego movie every other year
true,
between
they tried
Lego
to.
movie and Lego movie 2.
True. They should have just made another like Lego Batman. I would have been happy with that. I would have gone to the cinema to see that.
I've just been Googling it, but I can't see it. So I might, and I was going to try and get Emily involved in this conversation, but she's busy right now.
All
And
right.
what is their connection with YouTube? Because a lot of their films, they use YouTube in it. Like
Well,
even if it's just clips of YouTube or stuff like
mm,
that, they connect to YouTube
I,
when they can get away with
I
it.
I think it's just because like I mean I honestly can't answer that question because I don't know them personally. I mean, if I knew them personally, dude, I'd probably sell them the craziest like ideas I'll ever think of. But when it comes into it, I think it's just down to savvy. I guess like they know what YouTube is. You'll
Hmm.
get a lot of filmmakers that don't. Well, they'll probably either not use it just because they'll have no idea what it is, or probably just because they don't want to have a. They don't want to pay Google the royalties of using YouTube. I guess I don't know, but I think it's just down to savviness and just down to the fact that like unlike most producers, I'm talking about the old ones here, they know the youth. So I think that's like my theory
They
here.
actually, I believe, they have children that they listen to more than anything.
Lord and Miller have kids. They listen to their kids, and they know, and hence they know what YouTube is, and it makes it all the more hilariously relatable watching a character like Rick Mitchell struggling to use YouTube, which is honestly again another highlight of the
That's quite fun. It's a
movie.
really good movie. I'm also realizing the time. So let's go to your next film.
That was. I gotta be honest. That was it for me. I don't know. I thought I kind of. If you want to be quick, I'll mention one just because I'll mention a quick one.
Sean, you
Uh,
told me you were going to mention Love and Monsters.
I did. Yes, sorry, I forgot. We were having such a great conversation about Falcons with our soldiers and Mitchells and machines that we
You
had
know,
got
director
distracted.
Michael Matthews and writer Brian Duffield and Matthew Robinson's Love and
Love
Monsters.
and Monsters, starring Dylan O'Brien or Brian, however you want to pronounce it. I don't know.
I also realized that when I talk this low, I'm not sure if the recording will pick it up. So for all I know, it could have just been dead silence because I don't listen back.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, so Love and Monsters stars Dylan O'Brien, who is in the middle of a monster. I had to make sure I'd said it correctly because I had a weird history. Whenever I said monster, I put it as monster when I was a kid. So I'm a very self-conscious about pronouncing my words. So, Love and Monsters has Dylan O'Brien in the middle of a monster-infested apocalypse after an asteroid breaks up, being exploded by the military because bad thing, we must go boom. And then it lands and infects all of the creatures on planet Earth, or probably just in America, because that's where all the apocalypse happens. And they all mutate into these horrid giant monsters. And Dylan O'Brien's family gets killed in there. His love interest, played by Jessica Henwick, is separated, and they both go to these different colonies that are across each other. And he decides, you know what? I'm gonna trek this monster-filled land, and I'm gonna go meet this woman because I love her, and I got to spend the rest of my life in this apocalypse with her. On the journey, he meets a dog simply called Boy, and he's a cutie. He also meets two other people, one played by Michael Rooker and one played by a girl by a girl who I think was in something I can't remember what it was, but
Played by Ariana Greenblatt, who plays Minnow and has been in such things as Ivan. I'm sorry, I should say Shrug Ivan.
The one and only Ivan with the Disney film that got put into Disney Plus last year.
I'll do it again. Shrug. Bad Mom's Christmas, and where you may have seen her before, listeners, where you may have seen her before is young Velma in Scoop. No, she played young Gamora in Infinity War.
There we go. Yeah, so we have what's the name? What's her character's name in the movie?
Baby Gamora.
Fuck it, we'll just call her Baby Gamora. Gamora. So Baby Gamora, who was also in One and Only Ivan. Quite a nice little movie, I might add. So so Dylan O'Brien is essentially going around the same monster-filled apocalypse. Kind of like Palm Springs. This was one that came out like last year. Hadn't initially was going to have a cinematic release, but got kiboshed because of the coronavirus pandemic. So essentially, it was shown in America via VOD services, and then because Paramount and Netflix have a bit of a good deal, they after all did release Annihilation on Netflix a couple of years ago due to some sort of worry that it wasn't going to do well at the box office. You gosh darn cowards! And then got released. And then
it was an awful movie, Sean.
You shut your filthy mouth. I'm kidding. So it got. So it got real. It gets.
Annihilation sucked.
Love and Monsters. They got released here in the UK last month, and I gotta be honest, I really liked it. I was gonna leave it at some point just because it didn't look like my kind of movie, and I was pleasantly surprised. It's one of those movies where like you watch it, and by the end of it, you're like genuinely and pleasantly surprised by how fun this movie is. I had a very good time, and I genuinely do recommend it. Just because I don't know anyone else out there who's been talking about it as much, and because again, it's been a while since it came out. But I loved it. I thought it was a lovely. Well, maybe not loved it. I really liked it. I thought it was a very lovely little movie.
It was a very, because I have also seen it. It is a very nice film, where it does nothing really. Minus the apocalypse, nothing really like majorly bad happens. The only thing that I really had a vague issue with was I'm not sure America's covered in as much bunkers as they say there is.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense though, just because the amount of like apocalypse prepares are there. So I guess you get validated in this universe where it's like, yes, I told you it was going to happen. That someday a giant slug was going to appear and eat my neighbor, but ignore that. Let's just get in the bunker. But yeah, I had a great time, and I think what really annoys me or kills me about the movie is that Dylan O'Brien should be a big star right now. The fact
Dylan
that
O'Brien should definitely be a big star. Do you know why he's not a big star?
If you don't mind, go on.
Is because while filming, I believe it was the last Maze Runner,
Mhm.
whatever that one is. Maze Runner. Oh my God, there's still another Maze 3. Um,
Now we've added Walton Goggins.
while he was filming that, he like severely injured himself doing a stunt. Like I think
Oh no.
there was a train opening scene
Mhm.
where he was jumping from a train to a car, and
Mhm.
something went wrong with the harness, and he went under the car.
Oh fucking hell.
And
Oh no.
to my knowledge, this is purely internet stuff. To my knowledge, that's why that there was such a pause between Maze Runner 2 and Maze Runner 3 is because literally he was fighting for his life before they could actually finish it. So
Jesus Christ.
if all three Maze Runners came out at the same time, I
Mhm.
imagine he would probably have been a bigger star.
Yeah, like it's a shame. Like just because, okay, don't get me wrong. I think now that he's fully recovered, and that's
Also,
awesome.
who's
He's
cutting grass outside your window?
yeah. One of my family members is currently cutting the grass right now. If you can hear that, podcast listeners, I'm really sorry. Oh well. Anyway, so I think it's either a neighbor or I think family member is doing it. But either way, someone is cutting the grass outside.
Tell him we're
Anyway,
talking about important stuff.
all right. I don't want to, but okay. Hey, we're talking about the Maze Runner here. Be quiet. Anyway, so um,
Yeah, when I need to cut the grass, you be quiet.
oh, I'm gonna take the rest. So, Dylan O'Brien, I think is really good in this movie, and I think hopefully he'll probably have a comeback tour of sorts because the guy is genuinely talented. There's a scene in this. There's one or two scenes in the movie where, I think one in the opening that really caught me off guard, where his compound gets attacked by a giant ant. And he's been told that he's not really great at fighting back to these monsters because he's a bit of a scaredy cat. So in this opening, this giant ant goes after him, and he sort of stands there and doesn't move. And the fear in his eyes, the genuine like performance that Dylan O'Brien gives, is just incredible. Like it just makes me like hopeful that he probably gets more movies or shows to do after this
Definitely,
because he's
and
really good.
I'm going to tell you,
Mhm.
and then we'll wrap the show and the talking about the movies up. I'm going to tell you why he deserves to be so much better. I'll give you three guesses of a surprise casting of his that I have just found out what he voiced, and you will never know.
Okay. I'm probably not gonna be able to guess it. You might as well probably tell me
I'll
because
give
it
you
just
a
it,
big clue where he is animated.
okay. Um, I'm guessing Dylan O'Brien voiced some of the monsters in Love and Monsters or something. No.
I'll give you
Did
one more guess, and because you won't get it.
he? Well, I thought we are trying to wrap up here, Martin. Why are you trying to ask me
I'll give
then?
you one more guess because you won't get it. It's
Fine.
animated. He is the only animated thing in that movie.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
uh, I'm guessing he voiced a talking dog or something. Is this where we're heading to?
Nope. He was Bumblebee in Bumblebee.
Oh, so he was. I
Oh,
forgot about
now
that.
as soon as I say the answer, you the
Listen, it's been a
type of guy at
listen.
a pub quiz that goes, "Yeah, I got that."
Listen, not only am I not into Transformers
Also,
like at
I'm just
all,
giving you shit.
it's shut up. It's been
I'm
a
just giving you
while.
shit about the grass cutting in the background and my washing machine started to play up.
Yeah, no, see, you like it. So yeah, I plus to be fair though, he's only in the movie for like one scene, and then after that he's like absent from the film. It was voice at least is absent from the film. So yeah, forgive me for not getting that
You still
correct.
didn't get it though, Sean. You got it
I'm
wrong.
sorry.
I only put you on this show because you of your knowledge for films.
I know. I'm
I might
sorry.
as well
I
get
know.
some
I
sort
know.
of Star
Yeah.
Wars
I
fanboy
know.
to
I know.
go on this thing.
I know. But if you get a fanboy, they're just gonna. But if you get a Star Wars fanboy, they're just gonna end up talking about the Last Jedi over and over again because for some reason they just won't let it die.
I mean, you're saying that, but we've talked about The Last Jedi quite a bit.
I know it's because we're both exhausted and tired about it, and just it's
I
whatever.
think
And
it was a
also,
great movie and it was a great feat to cinema
also,
and it was the best thing in the world. And
also, it's just
I
also
honestly, Star Wars, grr.
Also, it's just really fun to dunk on this. It's just really fun to dunk on the fandom. I'm sorry, not like just this is just
No, we're not getting into it because if we get into it, then we'll just have the same conversation we've had about 4 times.
That's true.
And we've
That is
recorded
true.
2 of the conversations.
That is true. Yeah, I'm sorry. So yeah, forgive me for not. I mean, listen, if you want me to talk about like I
No,
don't know,
you
Akira.
shut the
No,
fuck up.
no,
You
no, no,
shut
no.
up.
I was
I
gonna
know
say
this is an
something.
audio podcast, but you keep it quiet.
I was gonna say something. No, genuinely, I was good. If you want me to like to tell you facts
I
about
want you to
Akira Kurosawa's
shut up.
films,
Then
I'll
no, you
happily do
can
so.
get Bumblebee. You're no longer the facts guy. I would rely on Google.
Okay, Twitter. My co-host doesn't know anything about Bumblebee. He doesn't know shit about movies. Can someone
I'm
here
gonna
like
get Emily involved.
like she? I mean, I don't know
No,
if she's a
I'm
big
not
fan of
gonna get Emily
Transformers.
involved because I've already tried to have a show with her and it's completely bombed several times.
I mean, I mean, to be fair though, when he had her on, it was really fun. And I think if he had her on there with Transformers, it just go.
It was our highest feud.
Yeah, like if he had her on if he had her on here talking about Transformers, it will just like go to the moon with how random it will get, and it'll be fun. It'll be a good time.
I
So
did try
yeah,
and get her on, but she's busy with friends. I didn't
well,
know she had other ones.
but yeah, so Beloved Monsters is very good. I had a good time. Watch it. It's on Netflix. And watch the other recommendations we put out because they're all also very good.
Also, or don't. If you don't want to, don't.
Yeah, and hell, here's a better idea. If you're listening to this right now, you could and you want us to try watch something just to make things more interesting. You can at us on Twitter if you want to for any recommendations. And we might
Don't,
go.
because Sean will check it, but I won't.
That's just because like I like watching new things or even like old ones are like, hey, you ever seen this movie? I mean, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's pretty good. And I'll be like, yo, I've seen it. And I'll happily watch it again. Or if it's a bad movie, like I don't know, let's think of an example here.
The
If
Last
it's
Jedi.
ah Martin, you said no! You're doing it again, Martin! Stop this nonsense, Martin Walker! Mm. You're making me use my grill voice. I'm gonna use it. Anyway,
Anyway, should we wrap up?
I guess so. I mean, to
I'm
be fair,
pretty sure, just because I've been watching the time, this is going to be the longest episode.
I mean, here's the thing, though, Martin. If you're going to be editing it, I'm going to ask a
No,
question. No. Did you have a good time doing this, though?
I will, but also future me will hate me.
I mean, here's the thing. You had a good time in the present right now recording this. Even if future you hates you and me, especially me, for going overboard or some things. Listen, as long as we had fun, we had a good time. And
No,
probably everyone
future
else
me
would have a
will
good
hate
time.
me more than current me hates me.
I mean, come on. Future people hate themselves all the time. That's not you.
Sean, let's wrap this up because I can hear the washing machine kicking up a gear.
All right. Okay. So this has been the Walking Skull podcast. Thank you so much for sticking with us for the 2 hours that we've been talking about movies and such. And we'll probably be back the next time we see a movie and be like, "Hey, we gotta talk about this one particular movie."
I also
So
noticed that we said we'd get guests on, but we had the one and then stopped trying. So
that's because life works in
finds
really
a way.
weird ways, or finds a okay. Life finds a way. So, I've been Sean Scullion, the Skull part of the Walking Skull podcast, and my co-host, whose future self is going to hate him for this, Martin Walker, is we're signing off right now. I guess I did a bad job. Do you want to try to do a better job than I did there? Because I really fucked that one up.
Well, normally we have it where the person who opens up also signs off, but I'll take over for you here, Sean. I have been Sean Scullion, the skull part of the Walking Skull,
And I've been
and over there has been Martin Walker, the walking part of Walking Skull, who's doing a fucking visual joke on an
it's
audio
my
podcast.
I'm trying to be you. I'm trying to work my broken thumbs, but I can't move.
Yeah, let's bring my fucking get a job, and then we'll talk, Sean.
Does being a human
Just
being
get
count
a
as a
job.
job?
Just get a job, Sean, and then we'll have a conversation about who's got broken things.
All
Anyway,
right.
our
All right.
artwork. Shut the fuck up! I'm promoting. Our artwork was done by Emily Bison, who is busy with other friends that she has apparently. I am Martin Walker. I'm actually Martin Walker. I have Bennett789 on both Twitter and Instagram. Sean is the Sean Scullion on Twitter.
Twitter.
Don't find us on Facebook because we won't add you because we don't know who you are.
Yeah, that plus that'd be pretty weird. Don't do that.
Sean doesn't have Instagram because Sean does not know how to name someone without offending people.
We'll save that as a story for another time. Let's just say
We won't because we will forget we've had this conversation. Thank you for walking around our skull, and we'll see you in the next episode.